Greetings, fellow Rauta viewers. Today's band comes from Croatia, which is not exactly the biggest metal country in the world. Quite the contrary, in fact. But here we are with the band called Defiant. Well, there are a few others with that same particular name, but this one plays death metal. And we're gonna take a look on their new album. So, this one is called Insurrection Icon. Here is the track list. About 44 minutes of music, and the CD which I just managed to drop, released by Art Gates Records. The cover, I don't know, but to me reminds of early Paradise Lost work where David Keane was creating the artwork. Kind of obscure and yet kind of creating the feeling of a, well, I don't know, old school death metal. However, this is more on the modern take of death metal, fast tempo and all that. Which is kind of curious because this band used to play melodic death metal in Flames, Dark Tranquility and all those other Gothenburg or other Swedish or, well, say Nordic melodic metal bands a few years ago. But they have changed their style, and I gotta say I missed their earlier album, the third one between this and the previous one, so I don't know what was going on. Is this the new step or was it taken already before? However, it doesn't matter really, because Insurrection Icon is the one we are dealing with here. Like I said, this one starts with a very kind of a modern way of, beating the death metal cow with its baseball bats. Kind of a vicious, aggressive and in your face, yet not full-time fast tempo stuff. It is not also the brutal type of death metal, bands such as Cannibal Corpse and that genre, but more somewhere in between the really brutal, real technical stuff also, and yet with this kind of a melodic, more, say, easier death metal style. Basically, one could say they're on the same level with bands such as Hypocrisy, but not as melodic and kind of a more modern in some ways. Well, Hypocrisy is modern in a way too, so I guess that point is kind of a moot. Anyhow, what makes the point here with Defiant is that they also have some kind of black metal vibe with some of the riffs. First of all, I thought I was just, making that up, but once I actually started to pay a little more detail in certain kind of riffs, I noticed that very easily these kind of riffs would be just, kind of a typical second or maybe third wave black metal. However, there's nothing else than that indicating towards black metal. I mean, just, the sound, the whole production, it's kind of a typical modern death metal, kind of a heavy guitars, no indication towards black metal whatsoever. Not to mention the vocals, which are quite strong, growling vocals, and yet again, so far away from kind of a typical black metal release. So I was kind of a little bit surprised when I saw Metal Archives listing this as a black death metal band, but in a way it kind of makes sense because clearly some of the riffs could sound very black metalish. If the vocals were different, maybe if the production was a little bit different, this could be a real black death hybrid. But make no mistake, this is like 80 to 90% death metal and the rest is kind of a black metalish. So this kind of a black death hybrid kind of labeling can be a little bit misleading, at least in my opinion. But Defiant has been doing solid work. I mean, there are no single major flaws on this album. It's maybe just a little bit too generic for its own good. I mean, this album doesn't exactly have personality to stand out from the crowd. But surely this has gone a way better direction than what was happening with a couple of albums ago. So at least the change of style changed something, and that is something I could say quality in general. Defiant is going to the better direction, but not yet on the good, not to mention great level. So, modern death metal, is it your cup of tea? If you can say yes without your eyes blinking, then go check out Defiant. If then again, the other way, this won't change the course, this won't change your taste buds in any possible way. Thank you for watching Rauta Reviews, and as always, should you have any comments, opinions, whatever, on the comments box below, and see you soon for more Rauta stuff coming your way. Cheers!